In terms of working with your bank to raise additional funds, Neil Armour believes that to enjoy their full support, it's important that you position your business correctly.
Relationships with the bank is absolutely key in any business environment at any time, especially so at the moment. Banks are not the bogeyman. Despite what the media might think, that every second joke you hear these days is about bankers. They clearly are on the receiving end of quite a lot of vitriol at the moment. We need to bear in mind that 99% of the people that work for banks are just decent, honest, hard-working folks who've worked with your businesses over the years and want to do that going forwards. Banks are there to lend money. Banks want to help. The guys that have had the problems doing the complicated international credit default swaps and all that good stuff is a tiny, tiny percentage of people in the banks. Banks are there to help. Banks are there to lend. Banks are still lending. In the various connections that we're dealing with, customers we're helping, we're seeing the banks lending. I would accept it's a little more difficult at the moment to get the banks to rebank from another one. So if you're with Bank A at the moment and you're overstretched, the business is in a bit of distress, it's harder than it once was to get another bank to pick that lend up. But in terms of the existing bank supporting a business that's stretched, that's distressed, we are seeing banks lend, extend facilities. The banks are there to help. The banks will help. It's about having the right relationship with them. It's about going to them with the right information. You need to go to them with the proper business model, a properly constructed cash flow forecast. You're asking banks to lend you money. Obviously, you need to be credible in persuading them how you're going to pay that money back to them. It's about presenting the proper information in a credible way, speak the bank's language, and they'll help. If you actually look at the statistics, bank-instigated insolvencies at the moment are at relatively flat levels. There is not a huge tidal wave at the moment of banks pushing businesses over. They're there to help. In my experience, they are trying to help. So don't be fearful of your relationship with the bank. It's important to have a good relationship with your bank.
As well as approaching the bank, additional finance is also available in the form of a grant from Highlands Islands Enterprise. Rory McNeil, Operations Manager with the HIE Inner Moray Firth Area Office, explains more.
Basically, grants are pretty important, pretty powerful tool from HIE. From the business point of view, you put together a business case, usually in the form of a business plan, and the business plan identifies certain costs that we would consider eligible for funding, and we would consider an application for a grant for a proportion of that funding. Some of our grants are related to capital expenditure, for example. Others are more revenue-based, perhaps marketing grants towards trips overseas for market research, and other grants are there for research and development purposes.
With a number of grants available, it's important to do your research to find the one that best suits your business.
The first port of call would probably be the HIE website, but following that you should probably arrange a visit to the area office that's in your locale, or perhaps talk to your HIE account manager if you have one. The key piece of advice would actually be to concentrate on the business model you're developing and look on the grant as a bonus. Don't shape your business case around grant funding, because at the end of the day there has to be a business rationale for what you're doing.
Another source of additional finance available to a business is venture capital, also known as private equity finance. This is when a company or an investor provides you capital in return for shares in your company. Ian Scott, Chairman of Highland Venture Capital, explains more.
Venture capital is people put money into a business. It's not long-term business, a long-term investment. It's usually 3 to 5 years as our objective, maybe on to 7. The objective is to put the money in to create transformational change in the business. So it's money to do something very specific, grow the business, bring on a new product to market, do something with the management team that then enables that business to make a leap forward in its capability, and then at the end of that process to sell the business, or exit as we call it, and get our money and a number of multiples back. The advantage of venture capital is that it's probably a little bit easier to raise if the business plan is well written, but you also get all the experience that comes with it. Most of my members are self-made men who have business-to-business experience. We have trodden on many mines on the way to being successful, and if we can guide a company round those mines, it helps it grow quicker, better, faster.
How do you know if venture capital is right for your business, and how do you put yourself in the strongest position to obtain it? According to Ian Scott, the key is to source a venture capitalist with relevant experience in your sector, as well as making sure you have a thorough and clear understanding of your business plan.
There are many sources of venture capital. You just need to look on the web to find dozens of companies, but what you'll find is each company kind of specialises in a niche of some kind, and it's your job, if you're trying to raise funds, to try and find the one that will work that works in the niche that you're operating in. So if you're in broadcasting, for instance, you want to find somebody who's got a bit of experience in that. There will be someone out there who knows a bit about it, and you can help each other. A lot of businesses see a business plan as a key essential, and they spend hours and hours working over an Excel spreadsheet that's right to the nearest threepence. The key aspect is to be able to actually explain your business in probably 3 or 4 pages, because venture capitals get loads of plans every month. I get between 8 and 10 plans. I ask for an executive summary of 2 to 3 pages that tells me what the business plan is about. And the ability to distill down your business plan into 3 or 4 pages that is both succinct, accurate, and gives a flavour of the business is actually very hard work. And until you can do that properly, you haven't thought through your business plan properly.
A firmer grasp on the basics of financial management and an understanding of the options out there for additional finance is invaluable for every business manager and owner. For more information on financial management, the grant schemes currently available across the region, and more on the issue of tax, visit learning-works.co.uk. There you will find a number of resources, documents and quick tips to help you increase your understanding of finance. Well, thanks for listening. Next month we'll be taking a look at the topic of purchasing.